The process of creating wine from grapes is not just a natural process, but one that requires many skills, and making fine wine is not just a science, it's an art. But at Tamburlaine, it's also a passion, where they use the latest technology and science to create their award-winning wines.
We're certified organic. That's actually an important element, in our view, of contemporary organic thinking, actually. Organic is a philosophy and approach to farming and in this case winemaking, because the vineyards and the wineries and the bottling lines all need to be certified in order to be truly promoting an organic culture. We're very interested in taking things out, taking the systemic fungicides, pesticides in particular, out of the system, thinking of ways to manage that. So taking things out was the first step, and to see what we could take out and still achieve a very commercial, satisfactory, healthy outcome when it came to harvest time.
To become organically certified, we had to change our management strategies quite a bit. Instead of using chemicals that we've used in the past, we've had to go through and use a knife to cut underneath the vine rows itself. After all those years of applying chemical to the soils, everything was very tight when we tried to initially work it up, but now we've gone through a couple of years of it now, gone through quite a few passes of it, and it's freed it up and we're getting through the place quite quickly. The challenge is to make sure that we're managing, we're monitoring a lot more tighter than what we used to. We just don't have other chemicals that we used to use previously. We actually run sheep in here as soon as harvest is done, and we get them out when bud burst is happening, so we get fertiliser from those guys as well, and they also keep our grass down nice and low. But as you can see with putting that weeder through, all the soil and that's all nice and crumbly and looking really good.
For us, being sustainable is about a lot more than using organic sprays in our vineyards. It's a holistic approach that took us down a path less travelled. We didn't start out as an organic winery. For years we grew our grapes the traditional way, followed industry recommendations, but we weren't getting what we wanted. So we went back to basics, asked simple questions like, how do we make our vines grow stronger? How can we improve the immune system of the vines? And how can our processes grow with our vines to keep us sustainable now and for future generations? We grow clover and grass between our vines to provide shelter for the good bugs and distract the bad bugs. We cultivate between the rows to break down the hard clay soil and make sure enough water reaches our vines' roots. And when the grass grows back, it breaks down the topsoil, making it easier for young vines to grow. Another important thing is to give back to the soil. Taking the grapes removes organic matter from the vineyard. To restore its balance, we use composted grape skins and stems as fertiliser. We also know how important our water is and that we should not waste it. We purify our grey water from the winery using live bacteria so we can use it again to irrigate our vines. Here at Tamburlaine Organic Wines, we're all about working together with the environment, not because sustainability is trendy, but because it makes sense.
Yeah, look, I think the making of organic wine probably is not dissimilar to that of what is defined as conventional wine. Much of the organic process is in the vineyard. There are some restrictions on nutrition and these types of things that we can add, but as a winemaker, I don't feel I don't feel crippled in my ability to make great wine from the grapes we have. So I simply don't subscribe to the old way of making wines, which is these sort of wines that you sit in the cellar for long periods of time and they soften with age. I think wine should be ready to drink the day we give it to you and then age well. Wine's all about fruit first, then everything else. To me, that really defines contemporary wine. Making stuff people want to drink.
Organics is not going back to some other pre-existing thinking or technology. It's actually about using sustainable, biodegradable inputs, natural inputs, sensible inputs, but technically proven inputs in order to make the best products in the world.